You know, yesterday I experienced what it's like when someone is depressed and angry, and they want you depressed and angry with them. Jealousy and envy are twin sisters of mental illness. You ever seen when someone's angry, they try to get you to fight with them? Now, when someone is sad, not depressed, sad, or mourning the loss of someone, it is good to cry with people. It is good to weep with them. Else it would be considered a faux pas to actually be laughing when someone is crying. When someone has found something they've lost, or someone has just come to faith, or someone is just so overjoyed at being healed or delivered, it's good to rejoice with them. And people that usually don't are jealous of them or envious. People that don't weep with you and cry with you at tragedy and loss are usually some sort of psychopath, some sort of psychosis. They're dissociative mental condition. They can't relate. They lack empathy for you. When you fall down, people don't rush to lift you up. You're hurt. The face doesn't go down to identify with the pain that you're going through. That's a type of dissociative behavior. They can't relate. They have no emotion, no involvement. But jealousy and envy will make people angry for what you've got. I can't believe, why aren't you losing your mind? I am. Why aren't you upset? I am. Well, because the peace that the Lord gives you surpasseth all understanding. You see, there are people who just can't get past people. And then for that matter, they can't get past themselves. You know, David, Jeremiah in the Bible, not David, Jeremiah, the preacher, he has both names, but King David and the prophet Jeremiah, they wept before God. You cry out. Weeping I may, but endure for a night. Joy will eventually come. So you weep. The Lord said, I heard the cries of my people. It's wonderful to cry out to God without liquor, without drugs, without psychedelics. Just cry out to God from your soul, a pure cry. Don't cry because you're drinking. That's why it makes no sense with drunks. They get emotional when they're drinking, and then when they're sober, they're somebody else, right? So you don't go to God when you're drunk. You don't go to your friends when you're drunk. You have to be sober-minded. Go to the Lord when you're sober-minded. Well, you can be drunk with emotions, not just liquor. You can be drunk with anger, not just alcohol, not just weed. You have to calm down, they tell you. Well, I'll wait until you are normal to have a conversation. Common sense. Don't try to make a conversation with an angry man, a jealous one, a drunk one. Wait, or a high one. You don't know. They've been induced and infused by something that is affecting their mental capacity to think within reason and logic. So be careful. A lot of people are dissociative with what's going on when they hear about people being killed or raped or an accident. There's a tendency to really not care. So you can remove yourself because you really don't care. You have no emotional connectivity to the person because you really have no emotional connectivity to yourself. So it gives you a blurred and warped view and perspective. That's what they mean when they say get clear. You've got to get detox. You've got to clear yourself so that you can understand. But when you meet people like that, it's best to disassociate, to remove yourself. There's nothing you can do for them until they calm down, until they become sober, until they get rid of their envy and their jealousy. That's a tough one, isn't it? That doesn't go away so quickly. You can stop drinking and get rid of the effects of alcohol to some degree, unless you've been an alcoholic a very long time. Then it's ingrained in your cellular memory. You act like a drunk when you're not drunk. You see that with drug addicts. They've been on it so long, now they resemble the effect. The symptom is just, it's a stasis of a constant behavior. Now you're acting high when you're not high. You're acting crazy when you don't have that crazy drug in you. That's why it's important to persevere in the same behavior and not to speak to yourself with lies, but speak to yourself with truth. Don't sit there and have a convention in your head with you, because you may not be thinking right about what to say or to do. It is the meditation on the Lord, the meditation on His Word. Go into Proverbs. That's the greatest book to meditate in. It'll deliver you from bad thoughts in your own head, connecting bad dots. It'll deliver you. It will set you free. It'll teach you how to think right about you and how to think right about everything and situations that you are in and other people. More importantly, it'll remind you about the wisdom of God, the wisdom of God, the wisdom of God, the wisdom of God, to seek it, to seek it, to seek it. And to seek it with two things. Seek the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, but seek people that are wise. And if you know somebody is wise, don't argue with them. Listen to them. After all, they're the wise one. You seek, don't argue with the doctor. Listen to them. Don't argue with the psychiatrist. Listen to them. At least one that you trust, obviously. Listen, trust, obey. But do not have a conversation with your angry self or somebody else that's angry, with your jealous self or somebody else that's jealous, with your psychotic self or somebody else that's psychotic. Let this mind that is in the Lord be also in you, casting down all vain thoughts and imaginations, thinking on the good and the prosperous and the worthy. Relieve yourself of depression because of the weather, no sun or rain. Think and be patient, and don't allow yourself to succumb to false narratives, false opinions, false thought, false emotion. He will keep those in perfect peace, whose mind is constantly on Him. Constantly, it says, on Him. Isaiah 26.